what we're referring to is the pivot from carrier to carrier.
Okay.
Okay. When we were in the home, we never were able to do this because we had to submit it to a carrier. So the pivot is it's a new thing as of the last 4 or 5 years since there's been instant approval. Okay. Before this, there was never such thing as a pivot. Okay. But now I can be on the phone with somebody, Braley, take an application. They get declined or rated. Maybe they get rated to another level, but I know I have another carrier that may get them at the lower level that I first applied at. So how do I pivot? How do I apply? How do I apply with you, Braley, as you're my consumer? How do I apply insurance with you? It doesn't go as we planned, and I continue to help you with another carrier. How do I do that smoothly with no confusion and still get the application done in one phone call? All right. So everybody put a 1 in the chat if you want to learn how to do that. This is big money here. The pivot costs people so much money. It's so big. I think about all the folks that I sat down with, had a conversation with the first time. We were so locked in on what I was selling them, and then I didn't know how to damn pivot. I didn't know how to tell them they couldn't get this, or I didn't know how to not mention what they couldn't get and just get them what they could. How about that? So I'm gonna let Bryce, man, I'm gonna let you head this up. All right, I'm gonna take some notes, kind of bounce feet off of you. But with your persistency and your knowledge of the carriers, where to put people, how to place them there, I'd be a fool to take the front seat with it, to take the driver's seat with this one. So let me take the passenger seat, and you rock out, dude, and let us know how to properly pivot, why, how, all that. You good with that?
Yeah, no doubt.
Diamond, man.
Well, like all of these things that we talk about on here, they all come from like, hey, here's some stuff that we messed up, and we want to share some information with you to help you not mess the same things up. Right? Like we talk about a lot in this business, I stepped on the landmine so I can walk you down the right path so you don't have to step on the same landmines. One of the biggest things when I was new was selling, like Don was saying, like selling a plan, selling, a price or whatever, and then getting excited about it, me getting excited about it, starting the application, and then them getting declined, and then the transition or the pivot being awkward and losing sales because I didn't set it up the right way, or I didn't, smoothly transition to the next thing, which I know this is like crazy specific, but the reason we're willing to spend a whole day on it is because we've learned it's that important. You know what I mean? Like it's that important to smoothly transition from one to the next. Um, and so it's huge. But just like anything else, any other objection or anything like that, so much of it comes down to getting out in front of it and setting it up the right way on the front end, right? Again, just like how do I avoid I want to think about it? Well, you do a better job of telling them how it's going to go and getting out in front of setting up the appointment or whatever the case is. So just like anything else, getting out in front of it is the biggest thing, right? So I'm going to go over a couple things to say when you're about to get into an application or when you're about to have them look at plans to make a potential pivot a lot smoother, right? So for one, obviously we let them know that we're brokers, right? So if I'm talking to Dom, so Dom, good thing about working with me is I have access to basically every insurance company. So I'm going to go through this health stuff with you, help you get matched up with the one that'll give you your coverage for the lowest rate based on what you qualify for. But good thing is if for some reason our first attempt comes back as declined or something, no big deal. We're just going to go over to the next one. And just to let you know, sometimes it takes a couple tries before we get one to stick. So if we don't get this approved until a third, fourth, fifth time, again, no big deal. As long as you're willing to stay patient with me, I'm here to work with you and help you find the plan that's best. That all makes sense? Right. So I'm just letting them know on the front end, like, hey, it's possible that it goes this way. And especially if you're getting into the health stuff and people got like a list of stuff going on, that's when I'm even more so like, all right, there's a potential that our first attempt doesn't come back as approved. I got to let them know that it's normal and it's no big deal. And again, that comes from having talked to a lot of clients that are frustrated or don't have insurance because they've been declined before. Like if a response that you'll get a lot when you ask people how come they don't have any coverage in place yet is a lot of them will say it's like, well, I have diabetes or I had a heart attack 5 years ago, or whatever the case is, and so I haven't been able to get it in approved for anything yet, or they've all been putting me on a 2 year wait or whatever. Like those two apps that I just wrote today, 6K total, right, between the two, but so simple and easy, and literally every single person on here would have wrote it. I swear to God. And all they were guys that immediately said, I'm paying this much for my coverage. I'm on a 2 year wait, and I don't think I need to be. You know what I mean? So that just goes to show like how many people are out there that are not in the right plans. Um, but yeah, that's kind of going off topic a little bit there. But again, letting them know that writing multiple applications is possible. And I think it's important for you to know, like, if you're brand new on here, it's I'm telling you on the front end, that's part of what you're going to do. Like, it's okay to write 3 to 4 applications per client. Do we want to underwrite as best as possible to find them the best possible plan on the front end? Yeah, of course. But there's so much unknown. The client may have crazy stuff in their health that they forget about, or people are prescribed things that they didn't even realize, or clients withhold health information. So, like, a decline on an application is not a big deal. It happens to me almost it happens every week, multiple times. It's going to happen to you all the time. It's not a big deal. Does that make sense? So that's why knowing that, letting them know that it's no big deal, that you're going to work your hardest to find the best plan. But if it happens, it is what it is. We're going to keep taking stabs at it till one gets approved. And I've literally, it's not saying that this is ideal or this should happen every time, but I've literally submitted like 7 applications before you get one to stick. You know, when you have those clients where it's like, yeah, they got some stuff going on in their health, but I don't think that they should be in a 2 year wait. You know, they if they don't need to be. Not that a 2 year wait's awful, and you know, it's not a huge deal, but if we can get them approved for immediate coverage, like I still want to work my hardest to try to find it. So sometimes that'll happen.
Hey, Bryce, before you go to the number 2, okay? I wrote down here this no big deal attitude, but the client's buying the process, not so much the product. Like, they bought the product already when they clicked on the form. And if you don't believe that, we got to convince ourselves of that. A lot of us think they clicked on that form and we have to get them to want it. No. They want it. But what they don't know is the process. What they don't know is what we're going to do. So when Bryce says get out in front of it, that's what he's talking about. Let's educate them on what's going to happen. Let's educate them on, if we strike 1, strike 2, and strike 3 is no big deal. This ain't baseball, bro. You never strike out. You got the best agent, bro. I throw no hitters all day. Does that make sense? But if they think that they're supposed to get a hit the first time they get up and they don't, now they're a failure. And think about this as a new agent. If you thought the first time you made a phone call you were supposed to make a sale and you didn't, how would you feel? It's all expectation. We have to share. All good. We got to share the expectation. So no big deal attitude. The clients are buying the process, not the product. All right. So that's what I was hearing when you were going through this, bro. Very good stuff. You got it.
100%. The other thing is this, and this kind of goes along with, you know, something we talked about, I guess, 2 or so weeks ago, in terms of closing, right? And working this as to a part of your close, but a couple of other ways to get out in front of either having to pivot or making the pivot, you know, not be such a big deal is, for one, or a couple different things. For one, do like whenever you can, starting the application that would give you a pre-approval or a pre-underwriting decision before you have to fill out the entire thing. So before you show numbers or before you quote unquote close, there are companies like Americo, Mutual of Omaha, Corebridge, that you can start an application, have them check the health to give you an answer of whether or not you can even proceed with the application. right? So if I start an Americo application and I get it to the pre-underwriting decision and it comes back and gives me the green light, it's so I don't need to pivot anymore. I know we're going to be good. So now I can show options and close based on me having the confidence of knowing that if we complete this application, we're going to be straight. So I no longer need to pivot. So pre-approval whenever you can. Um, a couple things that I've been doing recently. Again, this is all in the name of getting out in front of having to pivot, and and is showing a higher number. Like if I see that this guy's got some health stuff going on, and I have like maybe Americo, but then I put it into insurance toolkits, and there's like three other carriers that like, okay, if he doesn't get approved with Americo, it could be any of these other three. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll show them numbers for like the highest one. I'll still start with writing Americo, but he's picking his plan based off of the higher number. So that makes my next couple pivots not a big deal. So think about it like
Mm.
this. If I'm looking at 15,000 of coverage and Americo's coming out as 100 a month, and then I have like 110, 120, and 130 a month for my next couple carriers, I'm going, hey, Dom, so if you're approved for 15,000, it's going to be somewhere in the ballpark of 130. Okay. And he goes, all right, cool. And so we start the application. Now I'm starting the application still for the 100. And if it
Yeah.
comes back and it gets the green light, then I might go, hey, good news. Yeah, they actually approved you at a better rate than what we thought. This is actually only going to be 100, not 130. Right. But if that first one is declined, then I move to the second one, third one, and then kind of worst case scenario, whatever, fourth one. Right. And so I no longer have to pivot because the expectations are higher for the price. And if it comes down to it, great. But if not, then they're actually liking me more because they got approved at a better rate than they thought.
Yo, this is fire. Okay. You guys, we only get caught in a corner by what we say. You guys understand that? You only get pigeoned by what you say to the client. If I never say it's $100, they agree with you. They are totally cool with it. All right, so they said, Dom, 10,000, most is going to be about $130. But I know inside I'm applying for Americo, boom, boom, it could come back at $98. But if I give them 98 and it comes back at 130, you guys see how much harder that is? They've already started calculating it in their bills every month. And they do that in like 10 seconds. And then for the rest of the appointment, that's what they have in mind. And then you say, hey, it's going to be another $400 a year, $500 a year. Good luck. Good luck with this economy. Dude, I didn't even know you did it like that. Guys, there's other ways to do this shit, but that's the way. I'm doing it that way. Hell yeah.
Well, that's
they
what I love
only
about
know what
insurance
you know. None of our
toolkits.
clients are in insurance toolkits.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. That's so good. That's so damn good. Hell yeah. That's rock, dude. But I'm excited. That's quote the highest. Then see if
Yeah.
they qualify. Now you're Robin Hood when you come in lower. Holy shit. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Training over. Y'all ready to call some people? No, I'm just playing. Let's go.
Well, I mean, and it comes down to this is a lot of times like what you're saying earlier, when you show them one price and it comes back higher or whatever, it's not, a lot of times it's not that they can't afford the additional $7, dude. It's the disappointment or this guy's trying to get one over on me, or like, this price just keeps jumping up.
Yeah, he
And
just tried to get me interested at this price so it could go up.
Correct.
And that's what a lot of sales tactics do, dude. They'll tell you one price and it come back at something different. So might as well go with the highest one. Hell yeah.
So let's flip it on its head. They're excited. They see value in you as their agent, that you got them approved at a lower rate than what you thought it was going to be. And
dude, I get paid on commission. Damn. Right. Let your clients know that too. Like, shit, dude, it came back lower and I get paid on commission. Damn. They'll be like, dude, you're just doing the right thing for me. Hell yeah. Now you got some referrals. Help me pick up the difference. Oh no, I'm just like that. But yeah, let's have fun.
Dude, me and Garrick were on a call the other day, and I did that, and this lady end up coming back at getting approved for level 1 with Americo. And I've never been more surprised that somebody got approved at, like, she had, you name it, she had it. And it slipped through the cracks and got approved. Dude, she called me the other day and tried to cancel. And I pulled that. I was like, listen, Tammy, like, I don't think you get it. You should not have been approved for that. And you were. Like, you will, if you cancel this and try to do it again in a month or so, you will never get approved for this again. You cannot cancel this. She's like, oh, okay. I didn't even realize that, And so something you can fall back on. And then the other one is kind of along the same lines, but it's showing a range, right? So, hey, Dom, this should fall somewhere in the ballpark of 1 to 130 a month. We're obviously going to start trying to get you approved out on 100, but just letting you know in case that first one doesn't come back, just setting the expectation on the front end that it could be somewhere between 1 and 130. So again, you're just getting out in front of what higher rates should be, letting them know you're working your hardest to try to help them get approved at the best rate. But if it doesn't, it is what it is. And you set the expectation on the front end.
So, hey, Bryce, you that piece, that the range, okay? I love the range. All right. Now, if your client is I had two things going in my mind. Hold on. You pick it up, dude.
Well, I mean, are you trying to say like when I would use each of those?
Nah, no.
Because I don't know. It's so case by case. It's just like I'm just letting you know that those are ways that you can communicate the size of the plan to the client or the different options, and it's okay, And I just like, depending on their situation or why we're looking at what we're looking at, or maybe comparing it to their current plan or something like that, would be a reason you use each of those. So I just kind of have all three of those in the bag, and they're just different situations mean I use them. So if you're brand new, you might be like, okay, well, how do I apply that? All of this stuff just comes from trial and error. You know what I mean? Like when you have somebody on the phone, try to start the Americo application and get a pre-approval before you show numbers. Like, see if you can get a client to agree with it. Once you do, you'd be like, okay, this is how I navigate that. Or the next time you show numbers, don't just show like 10, 15, and 20. Like show 20 and give them a range, right? So with each of these, you just kind of have to try them out and see what works and what doesn't. And you'll know as you go which situations to arise. So all three of these things are things that I've messed up 27 million times in the past and just have kind of figure out which situations are best and how to communicate them to make it make sense to the client. But you don't know what to do until you try it.
I remembered. The graded, okay? If you got to pivot from immediate death to graded, okay? It's unless your clients are begging you for day one coverage, don't even mention it at the beginning. What I found is the hardest pivot is when I really sold day one and then they got to go into a 2-year. You with me? Remember, they only know what we tell them. And I was overselling the immediate death benefit. Hardcore. So much that anything that wasn't the way I sold it, if it wasn't that, it was crap. And some of you on here are like, I never said 2 years are crap. I know, but the way you talk about immediate death, bro, it makes everything else seem like it is crap. So when they don't get approved for that, when you pivot when you go from Americo to Mutual to American Amicable, and then they got 3 declines because you're still trying to shove it in immediate death, and then you say, hey, we're going over to court, that's hard to do. Mm-hmm. Versus, let me just sell the insurance and get them qualified. It's permanent. It lasts forever. It builds cash value. The premium never changes. Dude, I don't need to add in it starts immediate. Why? They're not buying it because of that. It's only going to hurt me by saying it can't help me. Now, if the client is like Bryce's client, I'm in a 2-year wait. I don't think I need to be. Boom. All right, cool, bro. We're already there.
Right.
But if my client has no life insurance, has none or has some and whatever, I don't need to oversell the immediate death benefit because overselling the immediate death benefit makes it very hard to pivot. Anybody deal with that? Anybody can relate to that? Anybody go, damn, I'll put that in my bag so that I don't put myself back in that situation? It's huge.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
So what if you know, like right off the rip, like this person's going to a graded plan? When should
Yep.
you mention that? Because
You
sometimes
don't.
I'm in an appointment, I'm like, okay, we're at this point, and I'm like, should I mention it's going to be graded?
There's no point. There's no
Okay.
point in mentioning that. Just when you explain the policy, just like yesterday, it's a high first 2 years savings account for 2 years. Makes sense? I don't say graded. Do they know what grade? They don't know what the hell that means. You guys got to remember, clients don't know these insurance terms you speak of. Makes sense? And 2 year waiting period sounds horrible. That doesn't sound attractive. Makes sense? So no, you have 2 years of a high savings account at 10%. Year 3, full death benefit. Make sense? That's it. But that comes when I explain, like when I'm wrapping up the policy. Like I've sold it. I got their social. I got the bank. It's sold. Now I'm wrapping it up at the end. Hey, just so you know, this is how this works. Boom, 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 boom. They're never going, oh my God, I can't. No. All insurance policies have a 2 year waiting period. All of them do. Every single one. Look up, Google, everybody on here. Incontestability. Incontestability. I think that's right. Check that out. Okay. That is universal, every insurance policy. First 2 years. Okay. So just explain it to them in that manner.
Can I
All
say
right.
something, Dom?
And the premium is like the same. It's not like Corebridge to Americo Select 2 is like really that different. It's like the same. So premium, you're never going to get caught. What's up, Susanna? You got a question?
Who said they want to say something?
I thought that was
Oh,
Susanna.
that was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I only have two carriers, Ethos and Americo. So instead of like worrying too much about which one they qualify for, I already knew off the bat I could only qualify them for one of two. So
Mhm.
every time I do the presentation, even if they have a horrible like health situation, I tell them, hey, based on everything you told me, we're gonna do a soft check to see what you qualify for and then go from there. And I just right out the gate, I start the Americo application.
Mhm.
And then once I get the green light, I pretty much know. So far, everyone I've sold to has been approved. Last lady I helped, the lady from yesterday, she had the worst health history ever. Like she had everything and anything. And in my head, I was like, if she doesn't qualify, I'm gonna find out right away. And at that point, we'll figure it out. But she got approved for American Eagle.
It can't be that bad then.
So I was like, dude, don't even make it an issue. Like I don't tell them anything about anything. After I get their health, I just tell them, hey, based on everything you told me, we're just gonna find out what you qualify for. And then I just go right into the soft check, and I just tell them I'm gonna do a soft check, and it's basically we're doing the application right then and there.
And so you guys, Susanna, thank you for sharing that. That's as of late, you know what I mean? Like my last year, that's all I did. Like I was really big on like, let's just soft check, folks. All right. Now that comes with understanding that process, right? Like understanding that America will give you that, okay? Or American Amicable or Ethos or just many carriers that will give you that soft check, okay? But letting people in there to where that soft check comes back, the client never knows that we're soft checking really with Americo per se. They know I'm a broker and that I'm doing my job. Makes sense? like that's what
Right.
I think that's what we forget sometimes. We forget that our clients actually expect for us to shop for them. But in our mind, we think that we need to be sharpshooters. I'm like, dude, that's not what the clients are thinking. Like when people go buy a house, they don't go, I really want my lender to be Navy Federal Credit Union. They're like, F that, dude. I want my lender to be the person with the lowest damn interest rate. Have you guys heard anybody have a preference to their lender? Unless they're like uber wealthy. Be clear. I'm talking about us regular folks. Okay. All right. Regular. Okay. Let's just be real. We're looking for the lowest rate. So we need to talk to them like that's what we're doing. It's my job. I'd be foolish to tell you a price without knowing all your information. And if it was up to me, I'd give it to you for free. If they paid me, I'd approve everybody. Say that with your clients sometimes. Say, hey, dude, if it was up to me, I'd approve everybody. So they definitely, I don't make the decision. Okay, because I get paid when you get approved. I'd just be like, check, 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 check. They don't do that. And now that levels it up between you and the client. Like, oh, okay, I have to give this information. It's gonna, you know what I mean? It's not about just the price. It's not a how much are those cookies type of question. Girl Scout cookies are probably universally the same price everywhere. That's not how this works. Make sense? So, just like your credit score is different, your dependents are different, your income is different, which dictates your mortgage interest rate, right? If we approach this in a similar way, it's not as big of a deal. Okay, I get it. But structure-wise, now the client has nothing to expect other than what they've done their whole life, which is follow directions from somebody who knows what they are doing, right? That's what we do. But when we give up that control, now it's a wrap, and but I like that way. I like that way. We're gonna do a soft check, see where you are based on what you told me. I don't care how healthy you are. And take this out of your speech. Don't tell people that they're healthy. Don't ever say you're super healthy. Don't ever tell them that you're all good. Don't ever do that. You don't do it because you mean it. You do it because, I don't know, you're trying to make people feel good. It actually hurts you. It hurts you. So the more you can let people know, hey, like they're crazy healthy and all that, right? In your mind, you're like, yeah, they're definitely going to get approved. Verbally, I'm like, all right, based on what you told me, Susanna, we're going to do a soft check to see who's going to give you the best rating. All right, because I'm not 100% sure. So let's do the soft check here. Grab your ID, send that over to me. Take a picture of just the front. Okay, I don't need the back, just the front. And then we can get started. You'd be so surprised how they just do it. They just do it. Okay, cool, boom. Now they started the process. Make sense? That's the start. You send me your ID. I've never had somebody send me their ID and it get weird later. Sometimes it does, I guess. I say never. I say never because I try to have a short-term memory and forget bad stuff. But like, it does happen. I'm not like that. But it's one of those things. So questions, comments about any of that, Bryce, anything there. But I think those three ways, shit, can help everybody. And you pick however you want to do that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times the hardest pivot is the one where you tell them, hey, we're going to be all good. You're going to get approved. You're so healthy. And then they don't. And you're like, ah, crap. Actually, all those things I said, I backtrack on it. And now we got to go look at something else. So that's why it's like, you don't want to just show all your cards. You don't want to make them think that this is so easy or they can just get this from anywhere. Because if you're telling them they're healthy and then they get declined and you're like, actually, they're like, oh, he told me he was healthy. Like, I guess this guy doesn't have the plan that's for me. Let me go find it somewhere else. So when you hold your cards and make it everything like, we'll see, I'm here to help you. Like, I'm going to help you try to find the plan that's best. But like, I don't know. We'll see if we can get it approved. And even when I get that green light with America for the pre-approval, I don't say, oh, great job. Actually, it's been approved. And I know we talked about this the other day, but like, I still go, okay, now in my head, we should be good. And I tell them, okay, cool. So now, Bob, if it's approved, it's either going to be, 100 or 150. Which one do you want? And then the very end, when you get that final decision, hey, Dom, congrats. Great news. Your plan was approved. And you want that moment to be, oh, thank you. Awesome. Oh, that's such good news. You know what I mean? Like if you can hold it until that moment, like that's how you know you have a client with you and they're grateful for your service to them. So you don't want to give it away too early. I'd say the last thing in terms of pivoting, and this is the old pivot. This is how we used to pivot as opposed to what everything we just mentioned, but I'll still go over it just in case. There's so many scenarios and different, clients are so different and whatever. But the old school pivot and what we used to have to do before we showed numbers this way and everything is like, if you do actually need to pivot in the sense that, you showed them one plan, they picked it, you started an application. If you ever find yourself in that situation, it kind of goes back to the same thing we were talking about earlier of the no big deal. All we do is go, okay, cool. I'm just going to pull up something over here. Hey, Dom, you just got another text. This one's from the 844 number. We're just going to give this a shot with another company. So let me know what that 6-digit code is. And that's me doing that after I started an application that got declined. So notice I didn't say, Dom, I'm sorry. Actually, our first application, it was declined. So if it's okay with you, we're going to start another one. Or actually, this one's going to be 135 a month instead of 130. Are you still okay with that? It's no big deal. We just do it, right? So cool. Actually, I'm gonna check somewhere else. You just got a text from an 844 number. So need you to read me back that code. And again, until I get one approved. Okay, cool. So as I told you earlier, it might take a couple different tries, right? So this one for that 50,000, this is going to be 135. Okay. And earlier, let's say it was 125. It's not, I'm not treading water. I'm just telling him this is how it's going to be. So like I said, I work with every company. As you know, our first couple tries got kicked back. They saw something in the health they didn't like, but again, no big deal. We're going to be able to get you approved. This one's going to be 135. Okay. Right. So I just start filling out the next application. I just tell them how it's going to be. I don't ask permission. I don't tread lightly. I don't make it seem like it's a big deal. And again, when I used to try to pivot, I would make it a big deal. Oh, shoot, you got declined. It's actually going to cost this much more. I'm just like building it up. Like in their eyes, they're like, wow, this seems terrible. Like he's even bummed out about it. Why should I be happy? As opposed to, hey, this is just normal. It's just part of what we do. We're just going to start another application. That makes sense. And so that's why it's like, have all your carriers pulled up and just start filling out the next one. Don't make it this big old delay or big deal. Just keep building rapport with them and keep it moving.
And kind of going with that, dude, I've in the past sometimes told the client that I declined the insurance company's offer. Okay? Meaning they offered something and I declined it because I knew there was something better. But I don't do that until I get them something better. Makes sense? So I get them something better and I go, hey, that first one, that America one that I shot you? Dude, they tried to rate you up at something that was just ridiculous. All right? So I declined that. You're going to get something in the mail that says you were declined. You weren't declined. I declined it. I declined the offer. Makes them feel good. Makes sense? I'm working for you. All right? Always let your clients know. And with the pivot, please educate your clients that they're going to get a letter in the mail that they got declined. Okay? Now, I'm not on the phone letting them know that, right? Because nobody wants to hear all that. Makes sense? That's why I'm letting them know I declined their offer. And you're going to get something in the mail that says that you were declined. Ignore that, dude. I declined it. I sent it back and told them we don't want it. It just totally changes their frame of mind with what happened. All right? I don't want them thinking they declined me. No. No, dog. If I got them approved. Remember, I got them approved somewhere. They have a policy that's good for them. So those 2 or 3 other letters that they're going to get from American Amicable or Americo, I have to let them know what those mean and don't look at those as negativity. Because if you don't, they get them in the mail, they forget what you guys call clients. They don't even know what damn insurance company they got. And then they get, after you pivoted 3 times, they get 2 letters in the mail and you wonder why they canceled your policy. I'm like, bro, you never educated them. I thought they were going to get some decline letters. So now they got decline letters. Now they mad at you and canceled everything. How do I know that? happened to me. Like, it happened to me. I was like, dude, you got to educate them. It's cool to do the pivot. It's cool, but do you know what happens after you pivot? Do you know that there's a paper trail of that? So hopefully this was great information. Bryce, you got anything else for this crew? I think we're building something real special here, dude. To tell you the truth.
Go have pivoting be a problem. It's the first thing.
There you go.
Go start talking to people and getting people declined and have this be a thing to work on is first and foremost. So this all comes with talking to a lot of people and moving people along in the process and actually getting into applications. You know what I mean? Don't be scared of the pivot. No, it's part of it, but go have it be. I love talking with agents and like, dude, I'm just like getting people declined. I'm like, dude, let's go. It's a great problem to have. You're getting people to make buying decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's
sales.
We'll
make little
sales
tweaks as we
isn't
go.
getting people approved. Sales is getting people to make buying decisions.
Yep.
Makes sense? Like, just because the guy didn't make it through escrow with the house doesn't mean you didn't sell the house. You got nothing to do with his escrow, right? If I'm the real estate agent, I got nothing to do with that. That's his escrow and his money. I sold the house. Now I don't get paid for that sale, but come on, mentally, I gotta think about this stuff right. Too many of you guys get down when you don't get paid. I'm like, that should not be the happy meter in your business right now. You know what I mean? Like, it should be, am I getting people? Do I have new problems? New problems are good problems. New problems means I'm making money, to tell you the truth. Same problems means I'm where I'm at. So
Yeah, I think that last part was big. I didn't. That's a good little gem because I forget all about that. I'm glad you kind of get a refresher about like when you do pivot and they get the decline that they are going to receive some in the mail. Because you're right, people will start getting confused, thinking he told me I was approved. Like I thought I got my policy, and the next thing you know, they think you was doing some funny business. So
right,
it's a good little nugget right there.
Yep, sir. Anything else, y'all?
I have a question about the decline. If I am doing the soft check with my client and they get approved, but not for the first one, but they get approved for Americo Eagle 2,
yeah,
then are they going to get a letter in the mail on that?
No, great question. Yo, that's a great question. You're thinking. No, they won't. They won't.
Okay.
Nope. That'd be cold if Americo did that, right? I'd be like, yo, come on. In a state like New York, they might do that. In New York, you damn near got to tell your client how much money you made. It's wild, the insurance commissions, the rules in New York State.
I have a question too, real fast.
Yeah.
So say like in Susanna's case, like they go to Americo Eagle 2. At that point, should I try to like pivot and go to a different company or just stick with what that is? I
just stick with Americo at that point. It's really hard. There ain't very many things that they would go Eagle Select 2 and immediate somewhere else. Bryce, do you know anything that's like right off the rip that you're like?
I mean, that's so case by case.
Yeah.
Like generally speaking, yes, if they get approved for Eagle 2, you're like, I'm just glad they got approved for something. You know what I mean? And it's immediate. So I'm going to keep rocking with it. But, you know, again, you use toolkits and you type in all of their stuff and, you know, it looks like, I don't know, a Transamerica. Again, there's so many things you got to take into account. If they're terrible with phone and email and text, then you don't want to go Transamerica because that signature's tough. But if, you know what I mean? But if maybe Aetna, if you see Aetna's like $50 less than, and you're like, well, I typed it all in, like, let me just give Aetna a shot first. And if that one doesn't come back, then at least I know it can pivot back to Eagle 2. So really case by case, I think you just got to know after you've done your underwriting, what other options are and how big the price gap is. Like I'm not jumping from Eagle 2 for another carrier for $5, but for like 15 plus or so, yeah, you might want to go somewhere else. Just, you don't want to run the risk of somebody undercutting you with Aetna, 3 months from now, just because you kept it with Americo. So
100%. Yep.
Yeah. That's why all of this comes down to doing your underwriting, and seeing what the options are first. If you know, okay, this is what Eagle Select One is, and then when I go to Insurance Toolkits or Life Center, whatever it is you're using, and I see these other 4 carriers based on their health they should be good for, like that's how you can play this game. But yeah, good question.
It is. All good? Anything else? And Matt, you're right. Transamerica does have that. Now, this is why that early pivot before you do quoting and all that is so big. This is why that soft check is so big that Susanna just talked about. Because if she soft checks with Americo, comes back Select 2, she doesn't have to decline or say, I don't want Select 2. She can just run it with Trans really quick to see what happens.
Yep.
You already have all the information. This is where it is really savvy to know how to log in, know how to work the application, and know how to already have the information. Right? You don't want to have to ask your client again, hey, what's your date of birth? Like, dude, you need to have that already. Does that make sense? And then while you're small talking and things like that, just be filling out another application. Now you filling out Trans. Boom, 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 talking about whatever. And the next thing you know, it's time for them to get the code or something like that. All right, where Bryce has talked about, hey, you're going to get this. Boom. Now we're checking with Trans to see if they will undercut Select 2. If they don't, it's decline. Now I'm sticking with Select 2, and now I know how to pitch that. I know how to present that. But I'm not presenting that without checking anywhere else. Okay? So this has been solid. All right. Thank you guys all for the feedback, input. Bryce, thank you for setting these things up. What do we have on the schedule on Thursday? We got
what else is out there?
Whoa, this is good. Okay, what else is out there? We're gonna put this is like a puzzle, you guys. We're gonna put all this shit together. Okay. You know what I mean? Like we got the pivot, we got the close, we got all, but this is what is out there. You don't know your market, you don't know what other carriers are out there, you're host. If you only know what we have, you're host. All right. So we're gonna come with a lot of info on Thursday. I think some documents for you guys to have to see, you know, just what's out there that you can just hold and go, okay, they mentioned this carrier, Lincoln Heritage. Here's what Lincoln Heritage has. Here's where they fall with price as it compares to everybody else. Here's where they fall with their benefits compared to everybody else. Make sense? So now that you know, when they say, hey, I got Colonial Penn, you already know what it is. You know what the deal is with Colonial Penn. You know what it is with Gerber. You know what Foresters has, even though it's a carrier that we have, but we don't really use much. You need to know what they have. So that's what Thursday is going to be about. All right. So let's keep rocking, you guys. All right. Keep rocking. Darren, good job, dude. You got $300 in lead cash yesterday. Shoot me over your email. Bryce, is he with CRM Center already? Can I get them to shoot him leads directly? Or no, how's that work?
He's not yet. No.
He's not? All right. I'll have him shoot them to you. You send them to him.
Okay. Cool.
Is that cool? All right. And then who else? Somebody else got $100 yesterday too. Was that you? Susanna?
No, that was me. That was
me. There's somebody else. You tried.
No,
you
sold
yesterday,
in at
but
11:59.
No, but who else was there earlier?
Me, Dom.
Lacey, you got some leads coming to you.
Thank
okay,
you.
And Red, you start posting every sale, bro. All right, not just the ones when you get paid. I'll pay you. Okay.
Bet.
Can you post every sale?
Bet.
Every sale when it happens. My man said 11:59. I'm gonna get my $100. I'm gonna give it to you, but do it for the whole team, not just for yourself. Okay?
Gotcha.
Can we do that?
Yep.
Let's rock. All right, you guys have a great day.
Later, guys.